Hey YouTube, I'm Alise from AJ Moneycoach. I'm a personal finance coach, and as such, I'm here to teach you the playbook of your money. As this video drops, we are midway through December. Can you even believe it? So I want to talk to you today about the top 5 things I think you should look at in your finances before the ball drops on New Year's Eve. Now, before we get started, go ahead and please hit subscribe to my channel below so you'll always know when I have new videos coming out to help you win with your money. Okay, number 1, let's start with giving and the topic of charitable contributions. Now, the holidays are a wonderful time to be grateful for what you have and to give generously to others. You know, back in the day, you could only take a tax deduction for charitable contributions if you itemized your deductions on your tax return. And many of us did because the standard deduction back then was small, and so most people who either owned a home or had children or were higher earners could benefit from itemizing. But that all took a massive swing with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that was signed in 2017. The standard deduction nearly doubled, which took itemized deductions off the table for a large swath of American taxpayers. However, as part of the CARES Act, a special above-the-line deduction of up to $300 was available in 2020 for qualified cash donations. And for 2021, that's been extended and modified to $300 for single or separate tax filers and $600 for married filing joint filers. So what constitutes a qualified cash donation? Well, it has to be cash. Yes, and that includes a check or an online donation. It has to be money as opposed to donated goods or services. Now, you absolutely should still donate your gently used clothes or household goods, but those aren't going to qualify for this deduction. Good old cash money, supported by a receipt, a canceled check, or an email acknowledgement. And it needs to go to a qualified charitable organization. You can find info about how to identify qualified organizations in the link below. So please give to those causes you care about and get your donations in by December 31st so you can benefit from the tax deduction this year. Okay, number 2, it's time to take a look at your retirement accounts and see if you can sock away any extra money. If you have a workplace account like a 401k, any money contributed by December 31st will reduce your taxable income for 2021. If you have an IRA you're contributing to, you technically have until the tax deadline of April 15th, 2022 to contribute for 2021, but no need to wait. If you're contributing to Roth accounts, this won't affect your taxable income, but now, end of year, is still a great time to review where you are for the year and see if you can afford to sock away any more money for retirement. Pay attention to your annual limits. These are generally $19,500 for 401ks and $6,000 for IRAs. Plus some additional if you're over the age of 50. But you want to make sure that you don't go over those limits. Okay, number 3. Do you have a flexible spending account or an FSA through your employer? This could be for medical and dental expenses, or it could be what's called a dependent care FSA for, well, costs of care for your dependents. In the past, these plans had a very strict use it or lose it deadline by December 31st. And while you may have had a grace period of a couple months to file your claims, the money generally had to be spent by the end of the year in order for you to get reimbursed. There has been some congressional legislation the past couple of years that has temporarily relaxed some of these deadlines and allowed carryover of funds. However, it's not guaranteed, and your employer may have had to opt in to participate in this carryover. So my advice here is if you have unused FSA or dependent care FSA dollars, you need to check with your employer, check with your plan, and find out if there is any allowable carryover or if you need to use them or lose them by December 31st. If you have to use them, find out what qualifies and spend that money. After all, this is your money that was deducted from your paycheck tax-free. Stock up on meds, supplies, make sure you paid the daycare, etc. Number 4, are you contributing to a health savings account, an HSA? Now, this is different than the FSA I just talked about. An HSA is only available to those enrolled in a high deductible healthcare plan. If you're in this type of healthcare plan, an HSA is an absolute gem of a tax privileged account, and I encourage you to go get one if you don't already have one. If you do already have an HSA set up, check where you are at in relation to contribution limits and see, do you have any room to sock away more by the end of the year? Get those contributions in now, and that'll maximize your tax savings. How about 529 plans? Are you investing in an educational savings plan for your kids? Well, look at those limits and get any planned contributions in for this year by the 31st of December. And number 5, last but not least, calculate your net worth for the end of this year. If you've got your net worth from the end of last year, great, do a year-over-year comparison. This is a great way to measure your overall financial progress. Then start thinking about what things contributed to the change. How much of it was in your control? Things that are in control are usually your earning, your spending, maybe the major financial decisions you made. And how much of it was external? Things like the performance of the stock market, interest rates, the housing market boom. And then use this information to work on your financial goals and plans for 2022. What will your budget look like? What type of net worth growth would you like to strive to attain? What major financial changes do you foresee next year? Have fun with it and dream big. So I hope this helps give you some framework and some immediate things you can look at with your finances before we ring in 2022. You can find regular money tips on my Instagram page at AJ Moneycoach. If you found value in this video, would you please give it a like and be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you soon.